She told her mom, "He's so boring. I'm leaving him for my coworker after this trip, but he'll pay for everything." I read it and stayed silent. Now, at our final dinner, her card is declined. She's begging me with her eyes. I just smirked. This revenge is gonna be sweet. So, this is happening in real time, and I feel like I'm losing my mind. I'm currently on what was supposed to be a dream trip through Europe with my girlfriend. It was my idea. A big celebration for my birthday and Valentine's Day combined. To be clear, I've footed the bill for almost everything. The flights, the main hotels, the works. She's chipped in for some meals and a couple of hotel nights, which I appreciate, but this trip is basically on my dime. Everything was fine until Super Bowl night in Madrid. We were at this cool Irish pub, a few drinks in, having a good time. Halftime hits, and suddenly one of the bar staff hops on a chair and starts yelling that they're closing. He's telling everyone to follow him to a sister bar around the corner that's staying open for the rest of the game. The vibe just got chaotic. We looked at each other and mutually agreed. Screw this. Let's just go back to the hotel and watch the rest on my phone. Simple, right? As we're getting herded out, she tells me she desperately needs to use the restroom. The staff is literally pushing people out the door, so I told her, "They're probably not gonna let you. The hotel is 5 minutes away. Can you hold it?" She said yes, but we had to hurry, so I start rushing. I'm navigating us through the late-night Madrid streets, trying to get back fast, but then she asks to see my phone so she can watch the halftime show while we walk. Fine, but now, she's walking at a snail's pace, totally glued to the screen. I'm walking ahead, stopping, waiting for her to catch up. At one point, I make it across an intersection just as the light turns green, but she's still on the other side, head down, watching the phone. We missed the light. I had to wait while traffic passed, just standing there, getting more and more tense. We finally get to the hotel. The second we're in the elevator, she starts doing the "I can't hold it anymore" dance. The doors open on our floor, and she just bolts. She runs down the hall, fumbles with the door, and I hear her slam into the bathroom. There's this huge crash as she practically falls over the toilet. It's 3 a.m. It gets worse. I walk into the room and see a wet trail leading from the hallway to the bathroom door. Shed spilled her entire drink down the hall while running. She comes out of the bathroom, and it's obvious she didn't quite make it in time. I didn't yell. I didn't say a word. I just looked at her, at the mess, and shook my head in disappointment. That's what set her off. Instantly, she's on the attack. It was my fault for forcing her to come back to the hotel. My fault for rushing her. The whole thing was my fault. It got so loud that a receptionist actually came upstairs and told us to keep it down. The humiliation was unreal. So, what did I do? I apologized to the staff. I got towels and cleaned her spilled drink off the hotel carpet. To stop the fighting, I just took the blame for everything, just to salvage what was left of the night and, honestly, the trip. She finally went into the bedroom, still muttering about what an asshole I was. I just felt this cold, heavy feeling in my gut. This wasn't a normal fight. It felt way too vicious for what happened. I wonder if I was wrong to just give in and apologize to keep the peace. Reddit. Or if this was a massive red flag I was too tired to see. After I'd cleaned up her mess and taken the blame, I walked into the bedroom. The air was thick with tension. She was propped up in bed, phone in hand, watching the end of the game with the volume low. She shot me a look that could curdle milk and muttered that I was an asshole one last time. I just ignored it, went into the bathroom, and took a long shower, trying to wash off the night. The hot water felt good, but my brain was still buzzing from the fight. It didn't make sense. The level of her rage was completely out of proportion to a stupid, drunken accident. When I came out, she was out cold. Her head was slumped to the side, mouth slightly open, and her phone was lying face up on the duvet next to her. The screen still lit, and then I saw it. It was unlocked. I have never, ever gone through a partner's phone. It's a line I've never wanted to cross. I stood there for a solid minute, just staring at it. My first thought was to just lock it and put it on the nightstand, be the bigger person, but her words were echoing in my head. I need to talk to my mom. What was she going to tell her? How was she going to twist this story to make me the villain? Something inside me just broke. The part of me that always tries to keep the peace went quiet, and a voice I didn't recognize told me I needed answers. My hand was shaking a little as I picked it up. Her text conversation with her mom was right there. I scrolled up a few messages, and then I saw it. A text sent just before she passed out. "I'm breaking up with him after this trip." My blood went cold. I had to read it 2 or 3 times for it to even register. It felt like a punch to the gut. It kept going. She called me boring, said she was miserable, and then came the knockout blow. She wrote that her ex from years ago was better for her, and so was another guy, a coworker, My brain latched onto that. The coworker. I know this guy. I've met him. Shed always told me he was just a friend from work, that they were in different departments now but were still cool. Why was his name in her mouth? In a text to her mom. In the same breath as her ex. My fingers moved on their own. I went to her messages and typed his name into the search bar. Most of the recent stuff was work-related, which almost made me feel relieved. Maybe I'm just overreacting, I thought, but I kept scrolling down, back a few weeks, and there it was. A message from her to him. Hey, you should come over after your shift. Then another one. A few days later. My place is free tonight if you're bored. The conversation history was spotty. There were huge gaps, obvious holes where messages had been deleted, or where a text exchange would suddenly stop, suggesting they'd switch to a phone call. I couldn't find a smoking gun. No explicit "I love you" or pictures. But I didn't need one. My mind was putting the pieces together. The over-the-top rage tonight. The secret text to her mom. The invitations to her place. I put the phone back down on the bed exactly where I found it. I felt hollowed out. It wasn't about me rushing her from a bar. It was never about that. The whole fight was just a convenient excuse for her to justify a decision Shed already made. She was cheating on me. I don't have a screenshot of them in bed together. But this is enough, isn't it? I can't be crazy for thinking this is definitive proof. Right. I put her phone back on the bed, my hands feeling strangely numb. I crawled back under the covers, but sleep was impossible. I just lay there in the dark, listening to the sound of her breathing next to me. Every quiet breath felt like a lie. My mind was racing, replaying the texts, the fight, the last few weeks. It was all a performance. The entire trip was a performance. My first instinct was to shake her awake, shove the phone in her face, and just scream. But then what? A massive nuclear fight in a hotel in a foreign country at 4 a.m. We still have a full week left here. A week of silent treatments, slammed doors, and figuring out logistics while hating each other's guts. No, that would be giving her exactly what she wanted. More drama. Another reason to paint me as the bad guy. The next morning, she woke up bright and cheerful, completely oblivious. The hangover and the rage from the night before were gone, replaced by a sugary sweetness that made my skin crawl. Morning, babe, you wanna grab breakfast? It was chilling. Later, as we were getting ready to go out, she was scrolling through her phone and laughed. Look at this pic I sent my mom at the plaza last night, she said, holding her phone out for me to see. My eyes went to the screen. I saw the picture she sent, and right above it, I saw her message thread with her mom. The texts from last night, the breaking up with him, the he's boring, the part about her ex and her coworker, were all gone, vanished, wiped clean. It was just the picture and some generic chat about the weather. In that split second, it became crystal clear. She wasn't just a cheater, she was a meticulous architect of her own lies. She was actively covering her tracks while smiling in my face. That's when a switch flipped in my brain. I remembered another part of her text to her mom. The bit about how she was going to have me keep paying for everything on the trip. A little smirk must have crossed my face, because she asked, "What's so funny?" I just shook my head. Nothing, just excited for today. Later, we were at lunch. The bill came, and it was around 50 euros. Instinctively, she looked at me, expecting me to pull out my wallet like I always do. I didn't move. I just looked at the bill, then looked at her, and gave her a calm, expectant smile. After a few awkward seconds, she hesitantly took out her card. It was a small victory, but it felt like I'd taken back a tiny piece of my power. So here's my plan. For the next week, I'm an actor. I'm going to be the pleasant, slightly boring boyfriend she thinks I am. We're going to see the sights, we're going to have nice dinners, and she's going to pay for a hell of a lot more of them. I'm not going to be cruel or cause fights. I'm just disengaging. I'm emotionally checking out. This is no longer our romantic getaway. It's my solo trip that she just happens to be on. When we land back home, I'm going to take her to her apartment, help her with her bags, and then I'm going to tell her that I know everything, and that we're done. No debate, no discussion. So, Reddit, here's my question. I wonder if I am a monster for doing this. If it is manipulative to pretend everything is okay for a week, all while secretly knowing I'm going to end it. Part of me feels like it's the only way to survive this nightmare without completely losing it. But another part wonders if I'm stooping to her level. I need to know what you would do.